Hi everyone, you're welcome to episode 65 of the More in You podcast. I am Oluwalabode, your host again, and I have an awesome, phenomenal guest in the house today. Today I'm hosting Moses Abayowa, and I'm so excited. Help me welcome him today. You are most welcome.
Thank you so much, Ma. It's a privilege.
I'm so excited to have you. So excited. It's part of my Speak for God family, and I thank God that we have so many unique people, I'll say, in that family. People unique in their domains. So today we're going to be looking at you and your uniqueness. And so I'm going to read your bio, and then we'll kind of just go through some questions. So audience, get ready, call a friend, get a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, some water, some popcorn, whatever you need. Let's get into this conversation on you and your uniqueness. He won't be disappointed because he has it. He's always ready. Am I right or am I wrong?
Absolutely right.
Okay, I'm going to read your bio. Moses Abayowa is a uniqueness coach, kingdom influencer, author, and radio host. As a uniqueness coach, he helps creators to turn their life's assignment into a profitable global brand. As a radio host, he hosts an inspirational show tagged The Achievers Moment every Monday at 11:05 West African time at Unilorin 89.3 FM, where he shares transformational ideas on how people can achieve success in their areas of influence. He is the author of 3 transformational books, You and Your Domain, Volume 1 to 3. He is the convener of the You and Your Domain International Conference, a yearly conference he started in 2016, where he brings together different global leaders to share transformational ideas that helps creators to turn their life's assignments into a profitable global brand. As part of his uniqueness, he's also skilled in helping creators to earn in dollars. Did somebody hear that? Through cryptocurrency investment and affiliate marketing. He is happily married to his best friend and teammate, the amazing Fumilayo Abayowa, and they are blessed with amazing children. That bio is loaded. Really loaded. It's loaded. I always love to read people's bio, and then I look at them and I say, okay, now I've read that long bio. Can you informally introduce yourself?
All right. So my name is Bolajoko Moses Abayowa, and I'm a uniqueness coach. I'm a kingdom influencer. I'm an author and radio host. Basically, I love to help creators. I help creators to turn their life's assignment into a unique, profitable global brand. Right, that's what I do. And by the side, I do cryptocurrency investment, affiliate marketing, and all of that. But the core of my life assignment is to help creators to turn their life's assignment into a unique, profitable global brand. Thank you so much.
And of course, as a creatives are always into different things. So
exactly.
Thanks for that. I'm going to ask another question. So can you tell us 2 fun facts about you that we don't know?
Okay. I think one of the fun facts will be that a lot of people know that I can dance. A lot of people don't know.
Oh yes, we have that in common.
Yes.
Although you are a better dancer than me.
Right. A lot of people don't know that I started out as a dancer actually. Right.
Wow.
Yeah, that was in uni days. Right. I started out as a dancer right before I started to know the idea I represent. Right, because dance is a talent. It's a mixture of talent and ability. It is not an idea. Right. I believe as we go on, those are part of the things we will be discussing.
Wow.
Right. So I think the fun fact would be the fact that I dance, right? And the second fact will be the fact that I'm a pastor. A lot of people don't know that as well.
Yeah, people don't know that. So we add Pastor Bolajoko Moses Abayowa. We add Pastor to your name. See, I didn't even know that. Okay, so
Yeah.
now, thanks for sharing that. So you're a uniqueness coach. I've always wondered actually, how did this journey start? How did you find yourself, helping people discover who they are, what they have on the inside of them? How did your journey start?
Wow. I would say it started in 2014. I had a vision, and in that vision, I saw a pastor. A pastor was sitting down, and then there are a whole lot of people in that room. A whole lot of them, right? I couldn't even see the end, right? Just a whole lot of people, and each person was going to this pastor. And once the person gets to the front of the pastor will just tell him or her, "This is the purpose of your life," and that person will leave and go. Another person will get there, he will leave. Another person will get there, tell this purpose of your life. Then all of a sudden, I just saw that it was my turn, right? And I was in front of the pastor. And then he asked me a question. He said, you are still working, right? Because I was on a circular job at that time. He said, you are still working. He said, in the next 1 year, you have to resign from that your job. He said, do you know the meaning of this word? Faith activism, serving the masses. He said, do you know the meaning of that word? I woke up sweating. Those kind of encounters you have that even if you don't write it down, you never forget.
You never forget them.
Right. So I was baffled. Like, it looked so real, and I knew God was communicating something to me. Right. And after different times of inquiries and prayers and fellowship, right, God started to open my eyes that the reason why I allowed you to see different people that I gave purposes, right, because I was seeing different people come to that pastor and tell them their purpose, is so that you will remind them that they have a purpose to fulfill on earth. And he asked me a question. God asked me a question. He said, what are you doing right now? I said, I'm working as a geologist. He said, what do you do? I said, my boss will send me to the field to go and work on the soil, because we do drillings and all of that to test the soil to see whether the soil can carry the weight of the building they will put on it. So it's like soil investigation. Right? So what are you doing? I say, so we are sent on the field. He said the same thing. He said, I send people to the field. And then the parable comes to mind where Jesus said, the field is the world. That's Matthew 13, when he was talking about the parable of the wheat and the weed. He said the field, when I was explaining it, he said the field is the world. Right, so God told me, he said, that's the same way I sent everybody to the field. He said, when you are sent to the field, how are you sent? My boss will send us with different tools to work on the field, to make sure, right? So God asked me, what do you do at your work? I said, my boss will send us on an assignment to the field. And then the field is the world, just like Jesus Christ described in Matthew 13. Right? And when he sends us to the field, he doesn't just send us alone. He sends us with tools, different tools to achieve the aim why he sent us to the field. Right? We are sent with rigs, the drillers, different personal protective instruments, and all of that, different tools just to make sure that we are able to achieve the reason why we were sent. And God told me, he said, that's the same thing I did for everybody, that I sent everybody on earth with different tools to achieve the purpose that I gave them.
Wow.
Different. And then God now started telling me that, because I asked the question, And I asked that question during COVID, right? So I started out with just helping people to discover their potentials and all of that, to fulfill their purpose. I talk about how to discover your purpose, how to discover your potential, and all of that. But during COVID, a question just popped up in my mind, right? Because during COVID, we have people who are doing something that they did not even plan to do before. Right? So we have people that are into maybe graphic design, for example. During COVID, a lot of people who left their job, they couldn't go to work.
Everybody became creatives.
Exactly. A question now came up in my heart one morning when I was just having my meditation time. I was just like, everybody will be doing the same thing. And God told me, he said, no. He said they can't do the same thing. He said, because everybody is unique.
Yeah.
So my journey in really understanding what uniqueness means started during COVID. So COVID was interesting to me. Started during COVID because that was when my mind now opened up to the fact that, wait, none of us can do the same thing. The mixtures are different, right? Then God started to open my eyes to the law of chemical composition, right? I think it's chemical composition in chemistry. The fact that different elements are brought together, and none of them, you can mix them differently and they will produce the same different results, rather. Right? So you can have, let's say you have this amount of sodium chloride, you have this amount of maybe hydrochloric acid or something. When you mix it together at some certain portions, it will produce something. If you mix the same thing together again at a different portion, it will produce different. So somebody can be able to sing and another person can sing also. But one also has a flair for agriculture, while the other one that can sing has a flair for nursing. So it looks as if they are the same with the singing, but the mixture is different somewhere else.
Because they are unique.
Because they are unique, right? So the concept of the fact that every single person God designed, he never designed them the same way. And God asked me a question. He said, if you produce a product right now, he said, if you want to produce another one, he said, do you produce the same thing you produced the previous time?
Not exactly.
I said, okay, no. Okay, so when I produce a product right now, it does not make sense to want to produce another product and produce the same thing that I produced the previous time. Every single person on earth is a product in the hand. So every time a baby is born, a new product is being introduced to the world. Right. So my journey started. My journey into the uniqueness started from 2020 during the COVID. Right.
Wow. Isn't it interesting that even when you find out what some of the things that God has called you to do, it's like it's a journey.
Yeah.
Because you had been doing it before COVID, but the depths of it began to come.
Yeah.
Like over time, like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because we have so much within us that sometimes we have not even scratched. We're just scratching the surface, and you already think you know everything.
Sincerely, when God gives us a portion to handle, it is not the entirety. It's just a portion.
Yeah.
That was why in the parable of the talent, the guy that had 5 and became 10, when he came with the 10, he was faithful with the 5, he became 10. That was when he knew that there were bigger things. Right?
That God wanted to give
him 5 first. Give him 5 first. Right? The one with the 2, he gave him 2 first. Right?
What
when
are you going to do with the 2?
4, that was when he realized it's not everything also. Based on our faithfulness, God unveils deeper levels to us. I believe that was what Paul was trying to say when he said, I am being poured out as a drink offering. Right? Because when you are pouring a drink offering, you don't pour everything just at once. You pour a little and then you wait for another one. So we are being poured out gradually, based on our faithfulness.
Oh, that's so powerful. Wow. Yeah. So where did you and your domain, where did that come from? I know I'm a very particular person about domains, because because it's the money that God gave us from the very beginning. That is our mandate. Wherever sphere He has called us into, you go there, you take charge. Wow. You go there, you take charge. That's what God, part of the blessing that God pronounced upon us at the very beginning. But you have 3 books. For someone to write 3 books on one thing, there's something there. And the books are called You and Your
Domain. Volume 4 is also come.
And so whenever I think of those words, You and Your Domain, You and Domain Volume 1, You and Your Domain, You and Your Domain Volume 3. I'm like, wow. So what made you? How deep is it that you have to have 3 different books? Talk about it.
All right, thank you, Mark. So, You and Your Domain started in 2016. The conference started in 2016. Wow, that's about 6 years now. Yeah, that's about 6 years now. So, it started when I understood the concept of the world. Yeah, because the word world, W-O-R-L-D, means cosmos, which is the system that governs the head. Right? So the head cannot run effectively until the world was introduced. The world, and that's why the word says that God created the head and set the world in it. Right? God formed the head and set the world in it. So the earth is like the computer, the screen, the laptop. But the world is like the software that makes it run. Right? The computer will be useless if there are no software.
There's no software.
Right? So the world is the system that governs the activities that are going on in the head. So how the head will become is based on how the world is. Then I got to realize that the world is now splitted into different areas of influence. Right? And the word cosmos actually also means an orderly arrangement. So the world is framed in such a way that everything fits into one another. The world won't be complete if there are no doctors. If the science, just imagine, mother, the science sector is removed.
We can't cope.
Just a lot of people will die. A lot of people will die on a daily basis if the science sector is removed. Just imagine that government is removed. Things will be out of control. A lot of things will be because they will not be ordered anywhere. Why? Because there is no governance system that makes sure that things are in order. Just imagine that there are no entertainment industry. The entertainment industry is so boring. Where are we going to? It's going to be very boring. Where are we going to have the music,
no comedy,
all of that, comedy, and all of that, right? So imagine media. Media is removed. We won't even be having this if there is no media, right? So everything is an orderly arrangement. That's the Greek word for cosmos. The Greek word for the world is cosmos, which means an orderly arrangement. So everything was set into place and everything fits into one another. Now, God now designed us based on our unique talent, abilities, and the ideas we represent to fit into each of those areas. Right? I really got the idea of this when I studied Matthew 13. A lot of people ask me, did you get it? I say, it's Bible, I read Bible. Right? Yeah, because there's a whole lot of truth inside.
Matthew 13 is so powerful.
Yeah. So Jesus now said in Matthew 13, he said, he went out to sow good seed. And then the enemy came and sowed tares. And when he was explaining it, he said, the field is the world. And he said, the seed that he planted are the children of God. Right? So children of God are planted in the world.
Oh.
So it means as a person on earth created by God, it is a planting, right? The word says that we are the planting of the Lord. It is deliberate. We are planted. It's like the world is a field, right? And we are the investment of God, right? In my You and Your Uniqueness volume 3, I spoke about the fact that God did not just invest in you, you are his investment.
He didn't just invest in you, you are the
He
whole
didn't just
investment.
invest in you, he invested you too. Right? Because any form of planting is an investment. You are investing something, right? So God planted each and every one of us in a particular area of influence. Some people, based on diversity, they are able to function in 2, 3, right? But some people is just one area of influence, right? So it was the quest to help people discover the fact that, listen, you have an area of influence that God has designed you to be. Right? And you have to execute, understand the idea you represent, gather your unique tools together, push out the idea you represent, and cause transformation in that area. Because until you do that, the coming of Christ is at stake on it. Right? 24:14 Matthew says, and this book and this gospel of the kingdom will be preached as a testimony in different nations, ethnos. The word there is ethnos, right? Which means different people that have the same language, right? So different nation means different clusters of people that have the same language. So the medical people have their own language. The media, they have their own language. Entertainment have their own language. So it is based on this. The fact that when people begin to understand the idea they represent, the idea God has designed them to push out and use their unique potentials to push it out, to appear and function as people that have testimony of God's kingdom, right? The coming of Christ would come, right? Because that is what it is banked on until the gospel of the kingdom is preached as a testimony. Many people have evidences, right, of what God's kingdom is. They have evidences in different areas of influence. And if you look around right now, you see that we have things like that, right? In sports, people are already coming out in sports, identifying themselves with Jesus and all of that, right? Different areas of influence already coming up. So it's a movement and it's forming, right? So when I got the idea, God told me to start You and Your Domain. That was in 2016.
Wow. That's awesome. But you know the interesting thing is I was actually speaking to somebody a couple of days ago. I said it will be so sad when we get to heaven and God begins to show us some of the things that we are meant to do.
Wow.
And some people will be like, you mean I was meant to do all that?
Oh.
I did not do because I did not know. Do you know how sad it will be? How sad. And whenever I think of that, and I just always think, I say, God, thank God you woke me up. Because for some of us, I tell myself, until you really know who you are, you don't even know what you carry within you. I remember I just wrote a book now. It's called Masterpiece Not Mass Produced.
Wow.
And that book came from the fact that God had to take me on the journey of, it was from Ephesians 2:10. You know, I was trying to unravel who I am, and he began to ask me, one day he asked me, he said, if you take two masterpieces to the auction table, they will not command the same value. He said, would they command the same value? I said, I don't know. He's like, no, because they are both unique. And so he began to teach me. And as I began to see I began to realize that as human beings, we are masterpieces. And that caused me to write that book. And that book, that thing opened up my eyes to how unique we are. And we might never know. He says, because each of those masterpieces each of them have they have their own audience. He said even in their 10 masterpieces, each of them is different because they are painting. They are different. The paintings that they use on each of them are different. It can never be the same. He said, so why do you people, human beings, compete with one another when I have created each of you as a masterpiece? And so as I began
Mommy, one word I don't love to hear is the word competition.
Oh, I can't stand it. I cannot stand it. I always say, but in the kingdom, there's no competition, there's only collaboration. I hate to hear that word. Because I don't believe we have any right to compete. We don't need to compete.
Some people say, you can have LD competition.
I don't even like competition.
Get the word, right? Because what that word does is that in subconscious, it causes frictions.
Yes, it does.
Right? So we don't have people who ought to be collaborating. They are in the same field.
Exactly.
I always tell people, I said, you don't have a competitor. You only have somebody in the same area who is trying to help people just like you in that area.
Just like you. Yeah.
In that area. Not your competitor.
Do you know, even if you have 6 people talking about uniqueness, they will all be different. Yeah. Because everybody will pick a component. Like nobody can teach it the way you will teach it.
Yeah,
and you have it in different flavors. Everybody thinking their own, and you're like, but they're not talking about uniqueness, but it's all different flavors. I said, it's not. So when I read that book, I was like, wow, each of us is different. And so last week I was talking about you, and I was talking about unleash your flavor. But I found that for some people, they don't even know how to even start on that journey of bringing out that uniqueness. So I want you to kind of just talk to somebody that is saying, okay, you're talking about you and your domain. I don't even really know that I have a domain. Now I'm hearing you people talk about it. You're talking about, bringing you there's something unique within you. Especially in this busy world. I almost would say, nowadays, everything is like fast. People look on social media. There's so many things to, you compare your regular life to somebody's life. Yeah. You don't know whether it's a real life.
Or a fake life.
So people get busy, and in the midst of the business, they don't discover that which is within them. And I just want to just encourage somebody that doesn't even know how to start off on this journey of discovering even their domain. Let's just kind of talk to that person.
All right. So it starts with understanding the idea you represent. It makes it so simple, right? The fact that you are not a talent, you are not an ability, you are an idea. The fact that you are not a talent. Some people identify themselves, they say, oh, I'm a speaker. Yes, you are not a speaker per se, you just use speaking to communicate the idea you represent. Right, so we have a lot of people associating themselves as a talent or ability. It is idea that rules, not talent and ability. Yeah. Right? I love to say that.
I like that.
Idea, I know, I think it was Reverend Sam Adeyemi, he wrote a book.
Yeah, ideas rule the world.
Ideas rule the world. It is not talent and abilities that rule the world. That's why you see those who have transgenerational influence, they were not recognized for a talent or ability. They were recognized for an idea. They represent an idea in the world. And they use their talent and ability to push out that idea. Right? So you're not a talent or ability, you are an idea. How do I know? 1 John says in the beginning was the word. So the word there means logos. Logos means an expressed idea. So if you want to read that again, it's going to read like this. In the beginning was an expressed idea. That expressed idea was with God. That expressed idea was God. That expressed idea took on the body and became flesh. So if the model, because I believe Jesus is the model of how God designed a human to be. So if the model of how God designed human to be was an idea packaged in the body, I cannot be anything less. I am also an idea. Right? And as an idea, you existed a long time ago before you even came. Right? So when they were asking John, are you the Messiah and all of that? And John told them, he said, I'm not the Messiah. He said, I am the voice crying in the wilderness. And if we cast our mind back to Isaiah, Isaiah said, I can hear a voice of one crying in the wilderness. Right? Isaiah didn't say it's the voice of one crying in the wilderness. He said he can hear the voice. So as long as that, thousands of years before John was born, Isaiah was hearing John. And was hearing the idea John represents. Right? And when John came, he was telling people that voice Isaiah was hearing, I am that person. I have took on a body now. Because this is the best time for me to come. Right? Because my people are here now. Because we came as an idea into the head. God gave us a body to stay on earth when our people are on earth. Right? Why are we not born during the days of Jesus? Right? Because our people were nowhere. The idea we represent is not needed at that time.
At that time.
It is now. And it is part of our uniqueness. It is now that you are needed. Right? I tell people, when you recognize your uniqueness and give it visibility, your people will come. Why? Because you are for you to take on a body now, it means your people are here now. That's why you didn't come before. Right? So it starts with understanding the idea you represent. And I have about 10 questions I ask people, right? But for the sake of this, let me just give one for the sake of our time. I always love to ask people, okay, let me just give like two. The first question is the unlike pole question. Unlike pole question. The fact that you are a solution and a problem is attracting you right now. Right? So unlike poles attract, like poles repel. So unlike poles attract. So you are a solution. You're designed to be a solution by God, because God does not create problems, He creates solutions. So you are a solution. Unlike poles attract, so there is a problem calling out to you right now. Right? So the journey starts with an alignment, asking questions like, is there anything going on right now that I want to do something about? Right? Are you so particular about something even when a lot of people are not looking in that direction? Right? An example I give is Moses. The fact that a lot of people look at the children of Israel and they just look at them suffering and say, maybe one day these people will be free, you know. Yeah, because I'm very sure it wasn't only Moses that felt the emotion for them, right? There must have been a whole lot of other people. But he was the only one that could not take his eyes away from it. So everybody knows child abuse is bad, right? When you hear child abuse, everybody has that. Child abuse. No, that's very bad. Now everybody has that. But there are some people that cannot. We will just talk about it, and we are gone. We are talking about something
that's
else.
Their cause. But
there are some people, their mind just keep going back to it. I know. The way they will be telling you, no, it can't be. No, we have to do something about it. Maybe we should even set up. See, for people like that, they are taking it beyond the normal. So everybody has something he is taking beyond the normal. They just don't recognize it. So what is that idea? What is that problem right now that you want it to be solved? And it looks as if you are the only one taking it beyond the normal. Yeah. Pay attention. Right? Pay attention. It's a clue to the idea you represent. Right? So once you understand the idea you represent, okay, another one is the empathy question, right? The fact that
us all of them.
Ma?
I said, don't give us all of them.
Yeah. Don't give two. I have about 10 of them. Let me just give two. Right. So the second one is empathy, right? The fact that you cannot fulfill destiny without empathy.
Empathy, yeah.
Empathy is an emotion that God designed for each man to move within and touch another man. Right. So before you can transform another person's life, empathy must be involved. That's why Jesus had to become man, right? So that he can truly empathize what it means to be man.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the way God designed every other person. So, what is that area of life where you truly empathize with people? You can see yourself in the shoes of the people because you yourself were in the shoe of the people before, right? That kind of shoe before. I love to say that your pulpit is where God has designed to pull people out of the pit because you were once in the pit yourself.
Oh, I like that.
Right. So we have people that maybe have struggled with something before, or they've had an issue in a particular area before, and God helped them out, and now they just have this strong empathy to pull some other people out, right? So those are ways to understand the idea that you represent. And once you understand the idea you represent, the next thing is go and gather all your members. all your members I'm talking about.
Go and look for them wherever they are.
All your talents and abilities, and go and gather all of them, right? It is the summation of your talents and abilities and the idea you represent that produces your uniqueness. Unity in diversity. That is the word that describes uniqueness. Unity in diversity. And the example I use is white light. When you see white light, there is an experiment in physics. White light passed through a triangular prism, and when it passed through, it split to 7 colors: roy beef, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So as you are seeing white light, there are 7 colors inside it. So it is the unity in diversity of those colors that produces white light. So white light is an entity that has diverse expressions. The same way, when Jesus said you are the light of the world, a lot of people don't understand. He was also trying to say, a lot of people say, yes, you are the solution of the world. Yes. But he was also trying to say you are an entity that has diverse expressions. Yeah. Right? There are some people that it is the yellow part of you that will bring them. There are some people it is the blue part of you that will bring them. There are some people it is the violet part. Some people it is the orange part that will bring them. The same way, right? There are some people that will come to you, man, just because you're a pastor.
Yeah.
Just basically because you're a pastor.
Yeah.
Some other people, they don't care about the fact that you're a pastor. They will come to you because you're a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So diverse expression. I've asked about people. There are some people like me now. There are some people that have come to me from cryptocurrency. Right? There are some people that have come to me from affiliate marketing. Some people have come to me from coaching. Some people have come to me from pastoring. Right? Some people have come to me just because they saw me on live. I posted a video about dancing, right? And then they got glued and all of that. So God gave us different things to compel people to come to us. Such that if you turn those things into skill, if you work on them and you become very skillful with them, it is an avenue to pull people to you. And that's the core of leadership, the capacity to pull people. You know, leadership is influence, right? The capacity to influence people. You push out yourself to influence people to come and partake of the idea you represent.
Wow.
Right? So let me just stop there.
Wow. I know, because where he came from, there's like plenty left. Wow. I know once you get started like that, it's like, woo. It's like almost having part 2 of this.
Oh God.
But thanks for at least dissecting it a little bit. So at least we've been able to get a few nuggets even from that, whereby people could actually get started. Because uniqueness is I always see it like it's a journey. It's a journey that you start it off, but then you have to now go in the process of really unraveling it. It's like an onion. You peel one, you keep going.
Mama, do you know, I realized something recently. There is something called NFT. If you're in the crypto space, you heard about it. Now, I realized that, you know, God was just telling me, he said, I think it was yesterday, he said, uniqueness is the future. He said, a lot of people that don't understand their uniqueness, he said they will lose relevance in the future, right? Because the future will be based on what makes you different?
Different from everybody else.
Mastery what makes you different, right? So the NFT is called non-fungible token. So they crafted it such that people can have a particular token. You can buy something, and no other person in the world can buy it.
That's like being
It is
unique.
unique to you, only you.
Only
no
you.
other person.
Imagine 7.5 billion. Only
Yes.
nobody will have the same
Exactly.
fingerprints as us.
Exactly. So even science is exploring uniqueness, right? Because the NFT is the future. NFT is the future. It's the future of how people will buy things and own things and all of that. So if science is already tapping into the uniqueness of objects, why won't we tap into our own uniqueness? Right. So it's very, very important.
It's worth studying.
Yes. So
it's really worth studying. Study the study of uniqueness. And based on that, I want you to let us know, because I know that the people that watch this podcast and they want to find out more. They want to know more. So let us know how can we get your resources? How can they access you as a coach? How can they find out more about this? Actually, the books I know volume 3 was You and Your Uniqueness.
Yes.
Volume 3
yes, uniqueness. The volume 3 is uniqueness.
Is uniqueness. Volume 2 was
yes. Volume 2 was presenting yourself as a portal of global influence by understanding the dominion process, engaging the dominion process to push out the idea God designed you to be. Right? It was Dr. Samuel Ekundayo that forwarded it. Right? Engaging the process of dominion. Right? Because I realized that dominion was a process. Engaging the process of dominion as a portal of global impact. Right? That's the word. Engaging the process of dominion as a portal of global impact. Right? And then the You and Your Domain volume 1. Oh my God.
That's the very beginning.
Yeah, that was forwarded by Pastor Dami
Oluwatoyin.
Yes. Right. All right. So people can get my you can connect with me on Instagram at Bolajoko Moses Abayowa. Right. If you click the link on my bio, you will literally see everything I do, and you can pick from there. You can get
I like Instagram for that.
Yes.
Once you put it in there, you can.
Yes. So I have a link tree there, and you can, from the coaching, I have the inner circle, I have YOYD store where my books, webinars, masterclasses are, like that.
Okay. Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. I want to say thank you so much for starting the unraveling of you and your uniqueness, because now you have sent us on a journey of going to find out more. At least I've done a little bit of that. As I wrote that book, I'm like, wow, there's so much that we need to, we have to keep unraveling about ourselves.
So much. I
deposited within us that we don't even know.
Yeah. I remember the story where I think James and John asked their mother to come and beg Jesus Christ. One said he wanted to sit by the right, another one said he wanted to sit by the left. And Jesus answered their mother. He said, those spaces were designed for those the Father has set for it. Okay. So he was trying to tell them, I don't craft a space for somebody and give it out to another person. People love to say, God can replace you. Yeah, you are replaceable. Yes, God can bring up somebody else that will handle situation and all of that. But that is not to say that exact thing God designed you to do, God has designed another person to do. No,
it won't be exact.
The mixture is never the same.
We're all masterpieces, all different. So
exactly.
it can never be the same.
Exactly. So let me round up with this. The fact that until we recognize our uniqueness, the idea we represent, and then we harmonize all our tools to push out that idea, we will not enter into our inheritance.
Yeah.
So, God is a king and he gives inheritance to his children. And everybody has an inheritance. And everybody's inheritance is not the same. Right? So I think it's in Ephesians or either 1:10 or 2:10, talking about the fact that in Christ we have obtained an inheritance, being foreordained, right? Being predestined.
Yes. If you look at the Amplified version, I think
yes. Being predestined according to the counsel of him that worketh all things to the counsel by the counsel of his will. So we have an inheritance in God, and that inheritance is our predestination. So until a man begins to understand the idea he represents and all the tools God has given him to push out that idea, the person will not enter into his inheritance.
How sad.
And that was what part of the things Jesus was trying to explain with the parable of the prodigal son. The fact that the guy went to the father and he asked for inheritance. And the issue was not the fact that he asked for an inheritance. The issue was the fact that when he got the inheritance, he left the father. He was leaving. All the while, I've always thought, oh, why did he ask for inheritance? He should have kept quiet like the other one. It was later on I realized that the one that kept quiet was actually the one that he didn't. He was working on the field, because the word says that when the prodigal son came, the word said that he came from the field. The other brother came from the field. So he was working. He was working, but he did not enter into the fullness of his inheritance.
He didn't even know he had. He didn't even know.
He didn't even know. So
when
the father was telling him, he said, all these things are yours now. In other words, you are the one that did not enter your inheritance.
So sad.
Because he was angry. That why are you throwing parties? And then he realized that he was the one that did not enter into his inheritance. I had a session like I think 2-3 days ago with somebody. It was a leadership training, and I was telling them how a lot of people in the world have the character of a leader. They are humble, they have the character of a leader, but they don't understand the idea they represent. Right? As good as having good character is important, it makes more sense when you understand the idea you represent.
Yeah.
Right? So what I would like to leave with everybody is, do not stop, do not settle until you can describe the idea you represent in a sentence.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It is called having value proposition. What is your value proposition? That from my own value proposition, I help creators to turn their life assignment into a unique, profitable global brand. Right? Turn your life assignment, the idea you represent, turn it into a value proposition, right? That people can have communications with, people can touch, right? It can become a product, right? And services that people can access and become blessed with.
Wow.
Thank you so much for having me.
Wow. Uniqueness Coach Bolajoko Moses Abayowa. Thank you so much. Thank you. I might be calling on you to bring you back again for volume 2. But for volume 1, thank you so much. Thank you for being such a blessing to us. We'll have all your details in the show notes. So people, you can go connect with him. And before we go, I want to mention to somebody listening, watching, the Manifest Conference is happening on the 7th and the 8th of October, 2022. Join us. Go register. Go register. Go register. I can't say it enough. I'm going to have a. We're going to have a. So we're going to have 6 speakers. One of them is Debola Dejikurumi, also known as DDK. We're going to have Dr. Sam. We have 6 speakers. Go and register. And it's free. It's virtual.
Wow! Go and register right now.
Go and register right away.
I love to say something that many people, God gives opportunities. Like God gives different opportunities. I think it was in Romans 2 that God said, "Thou art inexcusable, oh man."
No excuse.
You don't have an excuse. But God will say you don't have an excuse. It means He has given you several opportunities to transform your life, right? And that's this. I said that because this conference is an opportunity that somebody will look at and be like, "Wow!" If not for Manifest Conference.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
And the theme is Step Out and Shine, actually. From Matthew 5, 13 to 16. So people, it just ties in what we've been talking about today. Each one of us has been designed in a way so we can go into our domains and take charge. There's a call on our lives. Okay, bye everyone. I'll see you again next week. Bye.